Alright, just making a quick video. Just taking a look at this new power station by Newpowa. And this is this is something for all you ladies out there. You might want to take a look at this thing, right? Because this is kind of one of the first power stations I've seen that's kind of been designed like this more feminine design, and it's obviously it's got that nice pink color as well, right? So and this thing is basically you know, a clone as far as like the internals and stuff like that. It's basically a clone of the popular Bluetti EB55. So we see it's got all the same specs: 700 watt inverter, 537 watt hours, and it is LFP battery, right? So so basically, you know, all the internals and all the ports and stuff. We'll take a look at the design here in a second. It's basically identical to the Bluetti. You know, obviously you're not going to know 100% for sure that the internals are the same unless you take these things apart. But you know, generally speaking, like the way these things are manufactured in China, you know, it's not like Bluetti is actually manufacturing it. There's kind of like a head company, right? And then Bluetti is kind of just like the brand that distributes them. So this is almost certainly made like in the same factory on the same line as the Bluetti. But you know, it does get this this new case design, right? So yeah, let's just take a look at it. So obviously you see the color, you know, obviously the color is different than what Bluetti offers, right? Being this pink and white color scheme. But actually it's not even just the color that they changed. They actually made a whole new case, and this is kind of I kind of give them props for doing this because, you know, it's not cheap to come up with the new tooling and stuff like that to get an all new case design. And you can actually see it's much more rounded than the EB55 is. And you know, basically the top, the handle and stuff is different as well. We'll get to that more in a second. But yeah, so they didn't just, you know, take the cheap route and just change the color on the EB55. They actually came up with a whole new case. And I think that in combination with this pink color, you know, it really does it looks quite nice, you know, for a more feminine design. You know, if you haven't really found the more rugged look of most power stations appealing, you know, maybe you find this appealing, right? So now looking at the ports and stuff like that, as I mentioned, basically being a clone of the EB55, we do see that it's basically, you know, you get the same AC ports here. There's 4 of them. You get the 4 USB-A. You get one USB-C that's 100 watt, right? And then of course you got the this kind of lackluster display screen that Bluetti uses a lot that doesn't actually have a percentage on it. But you know, it gives you the information that the basic information that you kind of need, right? So if we compare it to the EB55, you can see it's the same thing. Same AC ports, same USB ports, you know, same screen. Now, the only thing I am a little bit disappointed that they did make a change to this unit is they actually combined the USB and the 12 volt into one section here. So just the one switch now, instead of like the, you know, basically the EB55 had, you know, you have separate switches here, right? You got one there, one here. And that's just better for efficiency, right? Because if you're just running something off USB, you know, you don't necessarily want to have this 12 volts, you know, regulated 12 volt section on, because that's going to use a little bit of power. It's not, you know, it's not a huge amount. It's not a deal breaker, but yeah, just kind of interesting that they did make that one change to it. And then looking more at the design again, you know, one thing that does kind of disappoint me about this is they added, like, the way they have this thing assembled, there's like the screws go into the front of the unit, right? So there's going to be 2 more over here on this side, just to kind of hold the unit together, right? But this is kind of like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to have like the screws going into the front of the unit. You know, have them on the bottom, the back, even on the side, like the EB55 has it on the side. So right here you can see them. But basically, you don't want to have it on the front. This is just kind of makes it look a little bit cheaper. And, you know, basically have it anywhere other than the front, right? So, and actually I threw this thing in the Photoshop real quick and just kind of got rid of those cover plates where the screws go. And as you can see, it just looks a lot better. I mean, this is not like a huge deal, but, you know, for someone like me, this would just kind of drive me nuts. Now looking at this photo here, this is actually really interesting. I kind of found this kind of funny almost, is that they're using the same handle from the, it looks like it's almost certainly probably the same part from the old Bluetti AC50S, and I actually have one of those Bluetti AC50Ss, and I actually really like the handle design on it. It's kind of something unique and different, right, than just a typical handle. But I was actually kind of glad to see that they brought that back, and something I kind of wish that they never would have got rid of, right? And then we do get the wireless charger kind of in between those handles, right? And then they're showing here, yeah, it's got the same 100 watt USB-C power delivery. Now this is output only, it's not input. But still, you know, we like to see 100 watts. So yeah, that's just a quick look at this pink Newpowa. And, you know, here's just a recap of all the specs. You know, basically the same as that Bluetti. And they do mention here this 10 watt LED light. So this is probably the same light that's on the back side of the unit, just like the Bluetti has. This is the only place I've seen it mentioned in this listing, though. They didn't actually show it. So, but yeah, we can pretty much assume that it has that same light. And I really like to see lights on these power stations, especially on the back side. I think that's just the best design. So yeah, there's something you might want to take a look at if you've been, you know, kind of wanting a more feminine power station, or maybe this would be, this might even be like a good gift idea, right? I mean, if you're real into power stations, you got a girlfriend or a wife or something, maybe you want to think about getting one of these for them, right? So, so yeah, hopefully you found this interesting or helpful, and yeah, thanks for watching.